Bill Plasch, triumphant return to Around the Horn after his excellent World Series coverage. Welcome back, Bill.
Welcome back to LA.
Along with Kalisha, Adane, and Barnwell. Today, Lamar Jackson off of a perfect game. Joe Burrow off of a 5-touchdown game. Last time they played, it was 41-38. Gonna have a Barnwell burner today, Thursday Night Football. Also, Ja and Bron dueling two shorts. Let's go around the horn.
Why does John Moran keep poking the bear?
Yeah, let's do it.
When will he learn? When will they learn? We'll let him learn.
That's a big stretch for LeBron, 40-39.
Thursday Night Football, Bengals at Ravens. Don't need to say any more. But maybe I will. When they met in Week 5, it went to overtime. It was 41-38. Lamar Jackson had 4 touchdowns in that game. Joe Burrow had 5 touchdowns in that game. There was 0 defense played, but both teams have made slight improvements since. So we'll see what that means tonight. Don't need to say any more, but I will. Maybe because this devilishly good-looking, dangerously intrepid journalist on ESPN.com today writing that it's not hyperbole to say Lamar Jackson's playing quarterback as well as anybody in league history. Oh, hello, Bill Barnwell. What is the line on tonight, Barnwell? Ravens-Bengals.
Well, Tony, remember, this game did have one bit of defense last time. It was the interception by the Ravens that set up that comeback late in the fourth quarter. To me, I think this is a game where we know the quarterbacks are going to play great. It is going to be defined by who gets some help, finally, from their defense. The Ravens have had 16 top 10 defenses in the Around the Horn era. They are 23rd in scoring defense this year. And then on the other side, Trey Hendrickson leads the NFL with 11 sacks. His teammates have 6 combined. He has almost twice as many sacks as the rest of the Bengals defense. Whoever has a team effort on defense is
Bill Plaschke, Around the Horn to you.
There's an Around the Horn era? That's awesome.
ERROR. Yes, that's what it is. Please go ahead. Yeah.
Now, I think the Bengals, this is the Bengals' whole season right here. They lose this game, they're out of the playoffs. That's it. And they got to win. They ranked 7th in the league in missed tackles, playing against the best offense in the league, playing against Lamar Jackson, who's 9-1 against the Bengals. You get Sam Hilton back. That'll be good for the secondary. I think it's all about the Bengals. Can they hang on? Can they keep the season going alive? I don't think they can. I think it's going to be a blowout.
Tim Kalishaw, Around the Horn to you.
You know, I'm a dues-paying member, Tony, of the Around the Horn Eras Tour, if you know what I'm talking about. And when I look at Lamar Jackson and what he's doing this year, compared to his MVP year, he's better this year. Henry is the only running back in the league who doesn't age. He's in his 9th year and, you know, could be headed for 1,800 yards and 20-some touchdowns. I really think it's more about Baltimore. I know Cincinnati's trying to hang in, and when you're fighting with the Chargers and the Broncos maybe for the last wild card, they could still be around that, but that's their ceiling. Baltimore is trying to get to a Super Bowl. They can't afford to not play well and win convincingly.
Hey, Donde.
You know, the Around the Horn era goes back 22 years, and just call me the coach's film because I've been around for all 22. In this game, as much as we're hyping up the quarterbacks, don't forget, Derrick Henry averaged 6.1 yards per carry in the first matchup. Stat courtesy of Mina Kimes on her podcast today. But also, this matchup couldn't be what it would if it was on a Sunday like a normal game. Because of the Thursday night scheduling now, you wonder if all the new acquisitions on both teams will have enough time to get acclimated. And you certainly think that the injured players like T. Higgins on Cincinnati, Isaiah Likely on Baltimore, could use more time to get healthy. They're both doubtful for tonight. So it's not the game that it could be if it was on Sunday.
Unpredictable nature of Thursday night game, short rest, the aberrational nature of that. Bill, you see it as a shootout again? You see it as Baltimore all the way?
Yeah, I feel like the Bengals have a shot only because of what they showed last week. They had really struggled without T. Higgins in the lineup. T. Higgins was a late scratch last week. Joe Burrow still threw for 5 touchdowns. Frankly, could have had 6 or 7 with some better luck. So I think the Bengals have a shot tonight.
I don't want this to go unsaid. You, in your column today for ESPN.com, when you were talking about the MVP race, said, nobody in the history of the game has played the quarterback position as well as Lamar this season. You're talking about prime Brady, prime Manning, prime Elway, Marino, everybody.
Marino?
Plaschke? Buy or sell Bill Barnwell there.
I'm selling the fact that he says he's the best quarterback in history. Yet he says the Bengals can win the game. And that doesn't make sense. If he's just great, they ought
The other
to
guy's
blow him
pretty
out.
good, too.
Tim Calishaw?
I think the best quarterback in history would have done a better job closing out against the Browns and the Raiders.
Adonde, it's the best quarterback in history. Once again, it's playing as well right now as anyone in the history of the game. Adonde?
I'm sure statistically, I mean, I'm always going to stand for Dan Marino in his breakout season. Like, that's as well as I've ever seen.
And
a
Bill
quarterback
Barnwell
position
finish us off.
I think Lamar Jackson is playing as well as any of those guys in their best seasons. The numbers bear that out. I think I'm going to take the Ravens, but I think the Bengals make it close.
We'll move on. Golden State 118, Celtics 112 in Boston last night. Champs, of course, without Jaylen Brown. But for Golden State, a golden opportunity to show how they feel this is a new team and how real this new field team is. Draymond clutch free throws. He was feeling it. Steph, quick to say they haven't done anything yet. But Buddy Hield, a different view, called it a statement win. Jay Adonde, what was it to you? Statement win or haven't proved nothing yet?
I'm landing in the middle. I can see where Steph Curry at this stage only thinks she makes statements in June. But the Warriors did do something last night they hadn't done in their previous games, and that is beat a team that's currently in the top 10 in its conference. Not just any team, right? The defending champions, Atlantic Division leading Boston Celtics. And they did it even though the Celtics have surpassed them as three-point shooting threats, right? They only had 14 threes to Boston's 19 threes. The Warriors know they're not going to win games on volume threes anymore. That's not their MO anymore. Remember that once upon a time, Klay Thompson had 14 all by himself. They won because Steve Kerr continuing the substitution pattern that had everyone in Boston so upset at the Olympics. But once again, he had the right lineup to close the game. In this case, it was Kevon Looney with a couple big offensive rebounds and putbacks to seal the deal. So the Warriors have a lot of things going, their depth and their defense and their reduction in turnovers. So all those things came together for their best victory of the season.
Tim Calishaw's statement from Golden State last night?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Buddy Hield. I think this was a statement. If you can't make a statement against a 64-win team that destroyed people in the playoffs, and you do it on the road, then there are no statements to be made. And I really feel good for Buddy Hield. He spent a career on average and below average teams, and maybe he wasn't the player to lead those teams, but you put a great three-point shooter like Buddy Hield basically into Klay Thompson's role, but you put him on the Warriors and you add him to what they already have. I think it's going to be a great season for him, and he elevates that team back to top 4, top 5, top whatever in the West.
Okay.
Playoff potential.
Bill Plaschke, around the horn to you.
I agree with Buddy Hield and I agree with Calishaw. This was a statement. This team in the fourth quarter committed no turnovers on the road. And that's stunning for Golden State. That's a stunning stat. They scored 25 points in clutch time. That's the most points they've scored in regulation for clutch time under Steve Kerr since he got there. They're deep. They have a 12-man rotation. They're deeper than they've ever been before. They're more physical. They play better defense. This team's for real.
Last year we were calling about this team's window being closed. Bill Barnwell,
I know,
what type
I'm
of statement
stunned.
did you see from Golden State last night?
This was them peering through the window and seeing a vision of their former selves. Not the same style, like J.A. said, but if scoring on your final 14 trips down the court of the game against the Celtics, the team that's being compared to your 73-win team, if that's not a statement, I don't know what is in the NBA. This was a really impressive performance, and like Jay said, they got it in a variety of ways. It wasn't just, three magic. It was getting in the paint, hitting free throws, getting offensive rebounds. It was such a team effort that I think it has to be really, promising for the Warriors as they move
Yeah,
forward.
Don, last word on this.
I mean, we still got to see them against Oklahoma City, right?
course.
That's the team that they have to deal with in the West before they can even think about facing Boston in the NBA Finals.
Wasn't exactly the Celtics team you were going to see chasing 73 wins last night without Jaylen Brown. Although I should say, Frank Isola predicted a 50-point game for Jason Tatum. Revenge game for Steve Kerr. Who wants his muse? Who wants his? All right, we'll let it slide. Calishaw, last word.
I think the last two teams to go to the finals from the West, Dallas and Denver, they're going to have a lot to say about it. But you put them with Oklahoma City, with the Warriors, that might be your top 4.
Taking a break. Buy or sell next.
You're a homer, Tim. Stop being such a homer.
Grizzlies 131, Lakers 114. We had the dueling two smalls in this one. Maybe I called it two shorts before. Blow the whistle on me, a man of my generation. John, LeBron, critique their form, please. But also, Morant left this game halfway through with a hamstring. Anthony Davis was out all game. It was 39 for LeBron. And that's who J.J. Redick praised after the game. But for the others, take a listen.
I think LeBron was fantastic tonight, but, you know, he played hard. He's almost 40 years old. And he played the hardest on our team.
Were you satisfied with the effort that you got from everyone else?
None of us are.
Lakers 4-4 after that 3-0 start. You know this, Bill Plaschke. So what do you buy? What do you sell?
I'm selling the start of J.J. Redick. I'm selling the fact that he may not have the credibility we thought he might not have. They ranked 28th in defensive efficiency. This team is not playing defense. If AD's not playing, they're not winning. They lost 4 of the last 5 games. If he's questioning their energy and their effort right now, this early in the season, are they listening to? Are they responding to him?
But you agree they're missing maybe the defensive player of the year type player in this game.
But still, there's no excuse.
Tim Kalishaw?
I'm selling, judging J.J. Redick based on 8 games with a roster that wasn't great last year. It isn't great. It has one all-time player, and then it has a great player when he plays, which he did last night. And then the rest of it, is not a team that can get them through the first round of the playoffs. So I think it's way too soon to put any of that on Redick.
Yeah, Donde?
I'll buy the warning I gave you last time I was here, and they were undefeated, but I said watch the defense and the amount of points they're giving up per game. They're now last in the Western Conference in defensive points allowed, and that was the red flag early on, even when they were winning. I'm also buying LeBron with the abbreviated too short on top of John Morant.
Oh, yeah, physically the hand was on top. You don't see that.
Yeah, like I've never seen that on someone. You got to buy that.
Bill Barnwell.
Yeah, I'm buying that this is the same Lakers team we've seen in years past. I mean, yes, when they have their stars, they can be a competitive basketball team, but the defense is not there, as everyone else has suggested. I mean, you can take all the Dan Hurleys that you want. That's not enough to build a great roster and a great team game in, game out when you are maybe having to sub some guys in and out of the lineup. I also, by the way, want to point out that LeBron is 39 years old. I know as a fellow 1984 person, going all the way down like that is a big stretch. You might injure yourself. So
yeah, I think LeBron
really wanted to put that in there.
Morant doing it to LeBron, is that allowable, Bill Plaschke?
Yeah, he keeps poking the bear. They keep doing that to LeBron.
I love that Morant's not afraid to do it.
I don't like it. I'm tired of it.
Buy or sell 2, Panthers declaring Bryce Young starter for Sunday's game versus the Giants in Germany, saying Andy Dalton is back to being healthy, but they're going back to Young on merit and chemistry. Bill Barnwell, buy or sell?
Buying that he's on the right track. We're seeing the negative plays disappear from this offense. Last week, only 1 sack taken all game against the Saints, and an interception on a play where he delivered a perfect pass, and a defender ripped out of his receiver's hands. They're running the ball effectively with Chuba Hubbard, who signed an extension today. To me, they just need to avoid 3rd and long, avoid being in situations where he's going to have the pass rush coming at him. They've done a great job of that with him the past couple of weeks. He should keep the job.
Okay, buy or sell the move back to Bryce Young?
I'm buying. Let's ride it out for a little bit. We're talking about a franchise who moved on from the previous 4 first-round draft picks before Bryce Young. If he can come back for the rest of the season the way he came back in this game when he looked despondent and looked like it was over for him in Carolina, they come back and win the game. Maybe he can come back this season and salvage his career in Carolina.
Tim Kalishaw?
When you pay as much as they've paid into Bryce Young, you can't be at the point of giving him up and yanking him in and out. They took him out of the lineup. He came back. He played well. He got a win. You got to propel this thing forward and see what you got the rest of the year.
Oh, come on. Let's face it. He's not going to be with the team next year. He's 3-17 as a starter. He's not going to be with this team next year. I guarantee that. They need to showcase him. So play him, but play him out to let people see what they can get in him. But he's not coming back next year. Let's be honest.
Bill, I know you are buying that he's starting again, but that kind of jives, Barnwell, with what you said a month ago when they benched him initially. That's the end of his career here. You still see it that way?
I agree with Bill Plaschke. I think he's going to be on a different roster next year. But if he can play well, it's only going to bode well for the rest of his career. Probably.
Bill, you'll get your point. Settle down. You agree with Bill Plaschke. I heard it. Buy or sell 3, Clippers 110, Sixers 98. Paul George's return to Los Angeles, 18 points in 24 minutes. Clippers put out a tribute video for him for his 5 years there. You can hear cheers, you can hear boos. George was asked about it after the game and said it's stupid to boo him. He didn't demand a trade. He left as a free agent. Tim Calisher, how do you hear that? And how do you hear the boos?
Oh, I think the boos are fine. When you're a superstar player, supposed to deliver championships alongside Kawhi, and you made it to one conference final in 5 years, when you got traded for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's better than you are, and a whole bunch of first-round picks, they have a lot of reason to let him have it.
It was stupid of PGA to question the boos. He on a podcast, he called the Clippers the B team in LA. That's one thing you do not say about the Clippers. That's the one thing that gets them more than anything. Plus, he missed 30% of the games he only played in the time he was here. He had no impact here. Boo him.
Yeah, I agree with Paul George. I don't know why people are booing him when he wanted a longer-term contract. He wanted to stay in Los Angeles and get a no-trade clause, and the Clippers would not give him that. That's why he went to Philadelphia. So not sure why we're mad at him for wanting to stay and not getting the terms that he should have got to stay there.
Dante.
Lasky say had no impact. Paul George, on his watch, the Clippers made their only trip to the conference finals in NBA history. And that's why I think the fans got it right. You cheer the memories in the video, and now you boo him because he's wearing an opposing uniform. You also have to sell the Clippers not taking into account that the visiting team chooses which side they are. So now they're choosing to go against the wall in the first half instead of the second half. So they're nullifying the advantage of the wall.
The wall's for real.
Tim Calisher, Jay Adonde, thank you for the time today, but this is Bills only allowed in Showdown. Flash, Barnwell, next. All right. Bill Flashkey, Bill Barnwell, good luck in Showdown. We had a 49-point game in college basketball last night. Ryan Kalkbrenner of Creighton carrying a ton of crate. 49 in 36 minutes, 20 of 22 from the field in the win over Texas Rio Grande Valley. That was a wow. Another wow in college last night. Villanova lost to Columbia at home by double digits. And not a wow, but a result. Arkansas win number 1 with Calipari over Lipscomb. Flashkey, who wowed you most?
Only 3 other players in history have scored that many points in a season opening game. And all 3 are in the Hall of Fame. Bob Pettit, Lou Alcindor, Artis Gilmore.
Wow.
Kalkbrenner's in good company.
Wow, that is a great piece of information. Bill Barnwell, who wowed you?
Villanova wowed me in the wrong way. Cal Neptune took over this program when they had just been in the Final Four. Since then, 2 first-round knockouts in the NIT, and now you lose at home to Columbia. This is the definition of a statement loss.
Statement loss. It wowed you in reverse, which is also wow.
Also wow.
There we go. Points, though. Flashkey 3-1. We'll move on. Showdown 2, Capitals Predators. It was 2-2 midway third. And a go-ahead goal from Alex Ovechkin, who is on a tear to start this season. Caps win. Predators have a slow start that slows even more. But about Ovechkin, it's goal number 861. He's now 33 away from tying Gretzky, 34 from setting the all-time unbreakable record, and he's pacing for over 50 this year. Barnwell, does he get it this season?
He does get it this year because the team around him is better. Guys like Dylan Strome, Alexei Protas playing well. Caps have a 3-game homestand in March before a road trip to play the Jets. Sure, the NHL is rooting for it to happen during the homestand.
You looked at the schedule. There, your point. There you go. And Plashke.
Yeah, the Caps are going to make sure he gets it. This is so important for the NHL. It's so important for all of us who remember Wayne Gretzky. It's great to have his name back in the conversation again. It's just a great moment. It will happen. It will happen this year. Everybody make sure it will happen.
You know, we say records are unbreakable, and we have said that about this record. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, goals have changed in the NHL. No record's unbreakable if this record's breakable now. We'll move on. Going to finish the show with an incredible golazo. I want you to tell me what's the best part. ACC tournament, Notre Dame, Stanford, game tied, final seconds. Kevin Dad, unreal call there. I mean, he fell into a black hole while he was making. So that was from midfield. This game was only tied with 12 seconds to go when Notre Dame scored. So that goal came 12 seconds after another goal at the gun here. This Plaschke, what's the best part?
All that was missing was the Stanford band. The best part was the quote was the announcer.
Yeah.
That's the best. That's the best part of it.
Bill Barnwell.
It was Stanford justifying the NCAA using this horrible countdown clock as opposed to the
I like
normal
it.
system and scoring with 1
You
second
work in
left.
television. We count down. We get to a time. We got to hit the number. And now Plaschke's going to have that number set at 30. Hit the number, Plaschke. Your FaceTime. Congrats.
Yeah. One last note about the Dodgers' victory: the 2 runs that they scored to beat the Yankees in Game 5 were sacrifice flies. The last pitcher on the mound was a pitcher who hadn't pitched out of the bullpen in 6 years. Their best player had a shoulder dislocation. The series MVP had a bad ankle and a bad rib. Their most versatile player switched all the field, played shortstop and right field. They are so unselfish. This shows, I don't care how much money you make, how much money you spend, unselfishness wins.
And if you
Teamwork
offset
wins.
the salary
Dodgers
going
win.
20 years, yes.
Some people
Those
care how
plucky
much money you
Dodgers.
make.
We'll
I
see you
don't know.
tomorrow.